3,000 years of Sunday school lessons, and almost everyone missed what the Red Sea story is actually about. The parting of the waters encodes a pattern that shows up in every major breakthrough you've ever had. A specific sequence your mind follows when it turns an impossible wall into a walkable corridor. And if you've ever felt stuck, truly unbearably stuck, you've been standing at that shoreline without knowing it. Picture the scene as the ancient writers framed it. An entire people pressed between an army behind them and an uncrossable body of water ahead. Every rational option is gone. Surrender or drown. That binary is the point. The story begins at the exact moment when logic has been exhausted, when the calculating mind has run every scenario and come up empty. The Egyptians represent the past bearing down. The sea represents the future looking impossible. And Moses stands in the gap between them, holding a staff. Now, that staff matters more than most readings acknowledge. Throughout the earlier chapters, the staff is the instrument of transformation. It becomes a serpent, it turns water to blood, it splits rock to release water. The staff is described as the thing Moses carries in his hand during every act that bends the apparent rules of reality. In the symbolic grammar of the text, the staff is directed will, focused intention held so firmly it becomes an extension of the body. So what happens at the shoreline? Moses raises the staff. He extends focused intention toward the thing everyone agrees cannot be crossed. And the waters divide. The Hebrew word used here is baqa. It means to cleave, to split, to break open. The same word appears in Genesis when God splits light from darkness. The same word appears in Isaiah when seeds break open the soil. Baqa is the action of differentiation, taking one unified mass and creating a passage through it by separating it into two walls. The chaos stays, the water stays. But a dry path appears between the halves. This mirrors something that happens in your own mind during every genuine breakthrough. When you face a situation that feels completely blocked, your first experience is undifferentiated overwhelm. The problem feels like one massive thing. One wall. One ocean. You can't see edges, categories, or gaps. Everything blurs into a single word. Impossible. The moment of parting, the baqa, is the moment consciousness stops treating the obstacle as a monolith and starts seeing its internal structure. The debt becomes specific line items. The diagnosis becomes a treatment sequence. The career dead end becomes 3 conversations you've been avoiding. The water was always made of parts. Consciousness is what separates them. And the text gives a detail that most retellings skip. A strong east wind blew all night before the waters parted. All night. This detail disrupts the cinematic version, where Moses raises his hand and the sea leaps apart in seconds. The original text says there was a sustained directional force applied through darkness, through the hours when nothing visible was happening. The parting came at dawn. Anyone who has wrestled with a real problem recognizes that night. The hours of turning something over in your mind, feeling like nothing is moving, wondering if you're wasting your effort. The wind is blowing, the water is shifting, you just can't see it yet. Then morning comes, and the path is there. The Israelites walk through on dry ground. Dry ground. The text repeats this detail twice, as if to press on it. The path through the impossible is walkable, ordinary. Your feet don't even get wet. Once consciousness has done the splitting, the actual crossing feels almost mundane. You've experienced this. The solution that took weeks of anguish to find takes 15 minutes to execute. The conversation you dreaded lasts 4 sentences. The dry ground was always there, underneath the water. But the story contains a warning too. The Egyptians follow the same path. They see the walls of water standing on either side, and they charge in after the Israelites. The same corridor, the same dry ground, and the waters close over them. Why does the path hold for one group and collapse for another? The traditional reading says God chose favorites. The symbolic reading says something sharper. The Israelites moved through the parted sea because they were moving towards something. The Egyptians entered the same gap because they were chasing something. The direction of intent was identical. Forward through the corridor, but the orientation of consciousness was opposite. One group faced the future, the other faced their target. When you break through a genuine obstacle in your life, the path stays open as long as you're oriented towards what's ahead. The moment you turn that same clarity into a weapon, chasing someone, punishing yourself, trying to control an outcome, the walls come down. The same focused awareness that parts the water can drown you if its orientation shifts from creation to pursuit. There's a pattern in ancient texts where water represents the unconscious mind, formless, deep, containing everything but revealing nothing until something acts upon it. In Genesis, the Spirit moves over the waters before anything takes shape. In the flood narrative, the undifferentiated unconscious rises and swallows a world that had lost its organizing principle. In the Red Sea account, the conscious mind, represented by Moses and his staff, applies sustained directional force to the unconscious waters and creates differentiation when none existed. This sequence maps onto modern problem-solving research with uncomfortable precision. Studies on insight, the aha moment, consistently show that breakthroughs follow a period of sustained unconscious processing. You work the problem consciously, hit a wall, step away, and the solution surfaces later, often suddenly. The conscious effort is the wind blowing all night. The insight is the dawn when you see dry ground. The staff Moses raises is the thing you've been holding the whole time. Your ability to direct attention with specificity, to look at the undifferentiated mass of a problem and say, here, this is where the split goes. The skill is in choosing the line of division. Any body of water can be parted in infinite ways. Most of those splits produce nothing useful, walls of water with no walkable ground between them. The meaningful parting requires knowing where the ground already is. And this connects to something the Exodus narrative does that almost no one talks about. Before the sea parts, Moses tells the people to stand still. Stand still and watch. The first instruction before any action is to stop running. Stop strategizing. Stop panicking. Be present at the shoreline. Every contemplative tradition teaches some version of this. The pause before the breakthrough. The stillness that allows perception to shift from survival mode into something wider. You can't see the structure inside a problem while you're thrashing against its surface. You have to stop. Watch. Let the wind do its work through the dark hours. And then raise the staff, not in desperation, but in directed clarity. The Israelites don't swim. They don't build boats. They don't fight the water. They walk. On ground that was there before the ocean covered it, the text implies the seafloor predates the sea. The solid path existed first. The obstacle arrived later. Think about that in terms of your own stuck places. The path through your current impossible situation predates the situation itself. Your skills, your relationships, your accumulated knowledge, all of it was laid down before this particular flood rolled in. The water is real. The fear is real. But the ground beneath it is older than both. Consciousness, focused, sustained, directionally honest, is what reveals the ground. The ancient writers encoded this in a story about a man with a stick, standing at the edge of an ocean, because that image burns into memory in a way that a psychology paper never could. 3,000 years later, you still see it, a figure at the shoreline, an impossible wall of water, and a dry path appearing exactly where everyone agreed there couldn't be one. The staff is already in your hand. It's been there the whole time.